Pictures there from Rome of the celebrations of Easter. Now, it's a big thing in Poland, but of course, there are many Poles who live in other countries. 8.8 million people in the United States actually self-identify as Polish. And my next guest is in the US. That is Piotr Orłowski, who is the correspondent for TVP's own Polonia in USA. Piotr, thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening. Thank you for having me.
So those 8.8 million Poles, how many of them were celebrating Easter in those traditional ways? Were people walking with baskets?
Actually, we don't have the exact numbers, but in my opinion, most of them. Polish tradition is so strong here. So next generations after first settlers, also people who just emigrated to States, they continue Polish Catholic traditions. But this picture is, I think, is a little different than the picture of Easter in all our country. So if we take a look for Polish diaspora, especially in big metropolis like Chicago, like New York City, we witness the same. So people take baskets, they go to churches, they attend masses each day. So they go to church on Friday. They also visit church on Saturday and for this for Sunday. Also, in smaller places where are Polish churches, you can go to church for Polish Mass and be a part of this Polish tradition. There's a unique place, Buffalo, New York. I call it Polish capital of Easter. And this is because there's one incredible person, Father Czesław Krysa, who graduated in Rome, who did his PhD from the Polish Easter tradition. So right now he's educating local Polish community, local diaspora, next generations after immigrants, with all these Polish traditions. So Easter baskets, also Christmas palms, also cracking eggs. All these people, they know how to do this. Sometimes these traditions in Poland are gone, but here it's also other difference. Here, when you live in States, you can see something which was brought years ago from the different generations, and they continue this. If we take a look for America as a country and Easter, I think this major day for our country is today. It's Sunday, so Easter Sunday. We don't have day off tomorrow,
No.
And people go to work. Yeah, people who call them Catholics, of course, they go to churches after work, but we don't have free time tomorrow to focus on visiting families. So it's also different. In Buffalo, New York, it's also interesting. This place is, as I called, it's unique and it's like capital. There is Dingus Day parade. They call it the biggest Dingus Day parade for all the world. So even local TV stations, they broadcasting live what's happening. Thousands of people attending this event, and this is the moment when America can hear about Poland, about Polish tradition, and also about Śmigus Dingus.
Well, that's fantastic. Śmigus Dingus is, of course, a day when you often have to beware. It starts very often at breakfast time. You get sprayed by your kids. What happens in the US? Do people also go out on the streets and pour water on each other?
In Buffalo, indeed, you can be careful not to be wet too much. So yes, this tradition is strong in Buffalo. In other places, not. Like people can water you, but it's a little. So it's safe.
Right.
America is like people take care of the rules and they try to stay safe. But yes, you can see that in Polish again in Polish places, Polish cities. Polish families, they love to continue this tradition.
And I wanted to ask you a little bit earlier. You mentioned about cracking the eggs. many of our viewers won't really know what you meant by that. How do you crack the eggs? It's a kind of a competition.
So actually, I've learned it from Father Czesław. I was doing documentary about Easter traditions in Buffalo, New York. So I've learned from them. I haven't seen that in Poland. I moved here 9 years ago, so not far away. So many of viewers and probably many of Polish people don't know what it means. You have group of people. Each of us has an egg. And we're cracking eggs. We're hitting egg by egg, and if your egg survives, you win. So we had a group of 6 people. We were cracking, and Father Czesław won. So and he thought his comment was, "Look, Father Priest won. It's a hand of God."
Do you know, I've actually seen it in Bulgaria, where it's very, very popular, and the Ukrainians also do something very, very similar. But it must have gone back quite a long way in Poland as well. That's really fascinating. And is it a day when Poles kind of explain some of their traditions to their neighbours who have no Polish blood at all?
You know, we are very like Christmas, but Easter is start of spring, so it's connected to flowers, to colors. So our tradition exploding with this, our Catholic tradition. So we have of course neighbors who are asking, "What you doing?" If they see we going well, even like with on Palm Sunday, our palm tree, our palms, Sunday palms, Christmas palms are strong. They have a lot of details. Here in America, if you go to church for Palm Sunday, each of person who go to church, we receiving small palm. It's kind of leaf of palm tree from Florida. So it's super small, it's tiny. So even at that moment, you can see the difference. And when Americans, they see Polish people with their palms on Palm Sunday, they ask, "What is this?" So we can explain the difference. We can explain our culture. And I think we can see, because America, we have to remember, America is a multicultural country. So our traditions are similar to other Eastern countries' tradition. Poland is called, if you're Polish, Americans, they call you Eastern European. People from Poland, they say we are Central Europe, but for Americans, we are Eastern Europe. And the same with culture. Our culture is closer to Ukrainian culture, Hungarian culture, Russian culture. So all these people, they understand more. But other countries, people from other countries, they don't know what is this. So we can explain.
Just to finish off there, Piotr, and does it make you homesick on days like this?
Actually, no. No, it's like it depends on the person. But I think like if you want to celebrate, if you want to feel good, like with your family, you can visit. You can do the same what we do in Poland, you know. But also there are other nations, other diasporas like Asian. They don't have this tradition, so maybe they feel different. Actually, I don't know. Like I feel the same as I'm in Poland.
Right. Well, that's really fascinating. And one thing that has become a family tradition for us is the mazurek, especially a very kind of lemony mazurek cake that my daughter makes, which has become very special. So I'm sold on many of these Easter traditions, although I do like my British chocolate. Piotr Orłowski, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me in the studio.